guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks so much for clicking on today's video. So today we're talking all about skincare, and I actually want to focus on skincare ingredients. I know there is a lot of leaning on skincare products and like which specific product did you use and what brand was it and where can I get that exact one, but I want to talk about ingredients today because ingredients really are the thing that goes behind the product that makes you so excited about it, that makes it work for you. And I got into skincare a number of years ago, and over the years I have kind of been trying to figure out, what is it that my skin likes about this ingredient, what is it that my skin doesn't like about this ingredient, where does it need help, and that has helped me to be able to pick products that support my skin type. So if you don't know, my skin type is oily, acne-prone skin. I've always had kind of issues with acne from being a teenager, hormonal acne. I still get hormonal acne even now as an adult in my 30s, but I figured out how to kind of manage it over time. So that's what we're working with. Like if I don't do anything to my skin, that's the absolute base, and that is the foundation of what my skin is like. Because of the acne and, kind of breakouts and things, then I am also prone to hyperpigmentation, where that kind of breakout happened. For me, typically that's a lot around my cheeks. So I do have hyperpigmentation around my cheeks, and anywhere else I might have gotten a spot on my face. So I'm going to do a run through of a few ingredients that my skin really, really loves, and a few that I think that are okay, but don't necessarily do wonders for my skin. And I think that is so useful in a skincare journey when you're trying to figure out stuff. Just because something is hype doesn't necessarily mean that it's an amazing thing for your skin and your needs. So that's what we're going to do today. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then just keep watching. But of course, I can't let you go before I let you know, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button down below. Follow, join the fam gang, leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell so you get notified when I upload. And you can also follow me over on Instagram as well. Otherwise, let's get started. Okay, so ingredient number one is niacinamide, and this for me is a holy grail ingredient. I can't live without it. It has to be my life. But it's a really interesting story because niacinamide hasn't always been that way for me, and my journey with niacinamide has kind of had ups and downs. I first started using niacinamide, maybe about 6-7 years ago, when The Ordinary had just started becoming popularized, but not like its mega stardom from like about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a bit before that. And I went onto the website and I was like, oh my goodness, like which product do I choose? But I had seen people talking about niacinamide being a great ingredient for kind of oil control, and that was like music to my ears because the oil, by about noon, I am like, you can fry an egg on my face if I don't do anything with it. So I bought the niacinamide and tried it out, and to be honest, it was very, very underwhelming for me. I was just like, oh, is this what everyone was going on about? And I was almost just like, is it the brand? Is it like my skin? Am I not doing it right? But I know that I didn't have much of a routine to speak of. I didn't really know about cleansers. I didn't know about giving my skin the necessary hydration support. I didn't know about SPF and like using that on a regular. So it just was an underwhelming experience for me. So I finished that kind of bottle and put it to the side and kind of wrote off niacinamide in my mind. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that a friend of mine also started using niacinamide, the same brand, and she was raving about it. She was like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing that's ever happened. It's controlling my skin, like my hyperpigmentation is fading. All of this stuff that she was saying, and I was like, what? Okay, maybe I buy it again and I see what the hype is about. So I bought it again and tried it. And this time around, I think my skincare routine was a little bit more in place. It wasn't as sophisticated as it is now, but it was, somewhat together. And I did start to see the niacinamide helping with my oil control. Now, niacinamide is one of those ingredients that does a lot of different things. It helps with barrier support and hydration. It helps boost collagen production. It helps with hyperpigmentation and brightening of the skin. If you have like redness or soreness, it helps with that. And blotchiness, it helps with that. But for me, what I really wanted it for was for the oil control and pore reducing, because that was my situation. I have oil that comes across my forehead, down my nose, and across my cheeks. So it's like an eye zone. And that's where my challenge is. So I was like, if it can do this, then fantastic. So because I started to see some improvement with it, I was like, great, kept on using the product. And then I decided, let me try a bit more of a sophisticated formula. If you know anything about The Ordinary, they're quite simple, one ingredient formulas, don't really have much else going in them, maybe an addition of hyaluronic acid. So I was like, let me try something more sophisticated. And I went from The Ordinary all the way to Paula's Choice. Price point completely different, but what I saw with the Paula's Choice 10% niacinamide booster was chef's kiss. Like, my skin, I don't know how to explain it, like, transformed from what I was doing to where it was just like a magical journey. And I was like, oh my goodness, how have I not used this before? I think I raved about it also on my Instagram. Like, love, love, love that product. They even have a 20%, which I'm considering getting. But before, but the only challenge with the Paula's Choice, of course, is the price point. It's very expensive. I think it's like $44, $45 for 20 ml of product, which you go through quite quickly. And I use my niacinamide both in the morning and in the evening, so you can pass through it quite quickly. So I was like, let me see whether I can find something else that's kind of in between. And that's where I discovered the Naturium Niacinamide Serum. And I'm actually on my second bottle. I got them here just to show you, because this one is the empty one. I think I've just like got a tiny bit of a pump left of that one. And a new one that I opened. I recently travelled and carried them both in case this one ran out. So this has niacinamide 12% plus zinc 2%, has hyaluronic acid. It has vitamin E in it as well. I'm in love with this brand, by the way. This Naturium brand, they know what they're doing. Susan Yara got it correct. The formulas are really nice. The packaging feels really luxe. And the price point is a little bit more affordable. So that's what I'm using right now. I actually did stop using niacinamide for a while to see whether I was hyping myself up or whether like it was actually doing what I think it was doing. And when I stopped using it, oh my goodness, the oil comes back, the pores are doing what they're doing, like, yeah. So for me, niacinamide is that girl. And I've also realised that I can't use niacinamide. For me, niacinamide has to be like a key ingredient, like niacinamide plus other things. It can't be like this other product with a touch of niacinamide that will help me along. I need standalone niacinamide in my routine to help control the situation. So when I'm using niacinamide regularly and I'm on top of my other parts of my routine, then I find that my face actually moves from oily to more combination. And I'm not as super slick greasy as I usually am. So just to let you know, amazing ingredient, would recommend. Okay, the second ingredient that I really like is hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is basically for hydration. Boost the hydration in your skin. And if you've got oily skin, you need to seriously consider having hyaluronic acid as part of your routine. That added moisture will help control the oils, because sometimes our skin goes into overdrive of producing oil because your skin's quite dry and dehydrated. So if you can figure out how to incorporate hyaluronic acid, I would, either as a serum, in a toner, as part of your moisturizing routine, etc. All of that will be fantastic. I used to have hyaluronic acid as a standalone in my routine, but I've moved towards having it as part of other steps. So I have a really hydrating toner, which I'll talk about in a minute. I have hyaluronic acid featuring in my niacinamide. I look for it within my moisturizers if I can, or I look for other ways to moisturize my skin. That's all I really have to say about hyaluronic acid. It's not an irritating product. It shouldn't break you out. It shouldn't cause you any concern. And I think it's one that all skin types can use. So if you've got dry skin, dehydrated skin, normal skin, combination skin, oily skin, the whole spectrum, you should be considering how to factor it in. I think if you have more drier skin, then you might want to consider it as a standalone, but for me, it's enough for me to incorporate it as part of the other products that I use. So while we're on the hydration, other hydrating ingredients that I really love seeing in my products: glycerin, amazing hydrator; sodium PCA, amazing. If I can see aloe vera juice, I'm about it. Like, those products are great. And I want to just shout out one specific product for this, because the ingredients in this product are insane. So this is the Heritage Store Rose Water Toner. It's my favourite toner of the season. Just listen to this ingredient list. So it has water, of course, glycerin, sodium PCA, hyaluronic acid, aloe vera leaf juice, and then you've got the rose flower oil for the kind of calming and soothing. This is just like a staple. If you were going to reach for one particular product, I would shout out this. And this again is one that can be used by all different skin types. I use this morning and evening, and it's my favourite hydrating toner that I've used so far. Alright, so I talked about having hyperpigmentation as a result of blemishes and acne and that kind of thing kind of being left over, and my trouble area being my cheeks. There are a couple of products that you can look out for if you're interested to kind of tackle that. The list is quite long, but the one that I first got on is alpha-arbutin. I've used alpha-arbutin in 2 formulas from The Ordinary, as a standalone and also with a vitamin C, and I've also used the Naturium alpha-arbutin as well. I like alpha-arbutin, I think it helps, but for me it's not like the star ingredient. I feel like for some people it works really, really well. For myself, I haven't found that it has given me the dramatic results that I needed, and that's probably because it was a standalone product targeting the excess melanin. I find with hyperpigmentation that you should probably go for a product that has multiple brightening effects. So niacinamide of course supports, but a product that has a few different things. An ingredient that I've been loving lately is Tranexamic Acid, and I hope I'm saying that right because I always get it twisted up. But Tranexamic Acid for me has been chef's kiss, and I particularly like this formula that I'm using right now. It's another Naturium one. It's a Tranexamic topical acid 5%, but it also has kojic acid, it has niacinamide, and it has licorice root. So kojic acid is another ingredient that you might consider for helping to brighten your complexion or take away the darker stubborn marks. And I like the tranexamic acid a lot more than I do the alpha-arbutin, but as I say, it's because this is probably paired with kojic acid as well that makes this formula a little bit more superior than like a standalone alpha-arbutin. Now, that's not to say that alpha-arbutin is terrible. If it works for you and if you've seen results with it and you want to just maybe try out one product to see if that ingredient works, then I would definitely say you can start out with alpha-arbutin. But for me personally, tranexamic with kojic acid or with other ingredients has been that go. Another ingredient I kind of have mixed feelings about is vitamin C. And I know I'm going to be a bit controversial when I talk about this because some people will rave about vitamin C and they'll tell you how amazing it is for brightening their skin and for giving them a glow and all of that. Now, I can't shoot it down, but personally, I don't think I've seen what people were experiencing with vitamin C, and maybe it's because of the products that I've used, and to be fair, I haven't maybe given it that much of a chance. Again, I started out years ago with the Ordinary vitamin C 23% suspension. I feel like I got okay results with that, but for me that particular formula gave me blackheads, so I let it go. I've used a couple of vitamin C liquid forms from The Ordinary. I actually really like the ascorbic acid and alpha-arbutin one. I like that formula. And I'm currently finishing up this galactomyces and vitamin C glow serum from Sun by Me. I like this, but I think I could do without it. It's just one of those things where I feel as though if I am exfoliating my skin and if I'm hydrating it properly and I've got my niacinamide and I'm using my tranexamic acid, I don't necessarily need a vitamin C. I don't see it as, yeah, that star ingredient for me. Now, if you love vitamin C and it's working for you, please, this is what I'm talking about, my personal experience. Please do you, please continue with what works for you. But for me, it's just been okay. I touched briefly on exfoliation, and for me, my star exfoliators are glycolic acid followed by lactic acid, and for me they have to be heavy hitting products. I've tried a number of different glycolic acids. The one that works for me is the one with the stronger percentage, so minimum 7%. I really like the Ordinary toning solution, and anything that kind of goes above that works. I loved the Pixie, but it was, I think, a little bit too gentle for me. I didn't see the exfoliation where I needed it to be. I think my skin can handle a little bit more than, my skin's not super sensitive, so it can handle a little bit more. Now, that doesn't mean that you go using this morning and night every single day, because you're going to mess up your barrier and then you're going to regret it. Use it in moderation, but use the one that works for you. If you're a beginner, then I would suggest you start off with a lower percentage, get your skin used to it, figure out how that works. And for you, as you work your way up, I kind of went in quite hard with the ordinary one, and then I went to the Pixie, and the Pixie just felt like it wasn't really doing much. So for me, 7% and above, 7 to 10% glycolic acid is the sweet spot. I see that my skin gets resurfaced, and I see that my skin gets resurfaced and it's brightened and it looks glorious. So texture and smoothness is improved with it. Same with lactic acid. I recently tried a sample of Sunday Riley lactic acid. Love it. Is it Good Genes? I can't remember what it's called, but it was really, really good. The second to last product that I want to talk about is retinol, retinoid, you know, that whole kind of space. I am a fan of retinol and retinoid. Yes, I'm now in my 30s. I'm now in my early 30s, so of course my skin benefits from the use of retinoid. And I think I wouldn't say, if you're watching this and you're about in your early 20s, then I would leave it alone. It's not something that you need to incorporate. Only for maybe 25 plus, and only if you see that you need it. For me, retinol and retinoid has really helped in terms of texture and helping to resurface my skin and help support the kind of disappearance of dark marks on my skin. So two particular products that I like are the ordinary Active Retinoid, 2%, love that. And I've just started using Different Gel, bomb, like bomb. I'm not using it every day. I don't need to use it every day unless I've got an active breakout. I'm actually just using it to kind of keep my skin on par and on check. And I'm loving what it's doing in terms of, yeah, giving me a more even and smooth surface and canvas to work from. Final product is oils, and the only oil I want to talk about is squalane. I'm absolutely obsessed with squalane as an oil, and I like two from The Ordinary, and it's this one. This is the Hemi squalane, which is a bit lighter. This is probably nice if you have got particularly oily skin or are more on the oilier side, because it's a bit of a lighter formula. It doesn't feel greasy. You can even wear this kind of like during the day if you need that extra hydration, but you don't want to look like super, super oily. And then the squalane for when I've kind of gone in with retinoid or glycolic acid and I need that extra moisture and barrier support, that's when I would use it. So I would also recommend in terms of oils, particularly for my skin type because I don't like heavy oils, to use a squalane. I like it on its own, but I also look for it in moisturizers and things like that as well. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope that you found it useful. If you did, leave me a comment down below, questions, recommendations, etc. Love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.